Welcome to the episode 4 of the Kevin Cho Show. And in my podcast, I always want to highlight the people that I do transactions with, right? Because for the last 3.5 years of me being in real estate, I have done deals with probably 150 different people. And one of my biggest regret is not documenting every single deal that I've done. And because each deal has its own unique stories. So for me, after 3.5 years of debating whether I should start a podcast or not, I have finally decided to document every single deal that I do with each person that's involved in the deal. So in this episode 4, I have Eric Martinez. He's out of here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we have just closed a deal in Gold Canyon, Arizona, which nobody knows where that is, but I promise you, it's somewhere here in Arizona, and there's a human species that live in that city. So Eric, what's up, man?
What's up, bro?
Well, the thing is, you and I go back and forth on DMs all the time. And was
Yeah.
this our very first deal or was this our second deal?
Yeah, it's our first deal.
It's our first deal. You sent us a handful of deals though in the past.
I have, yeah. You need to buy more.
I know. It's hard when I can only really buy one house a month, and that's like my cap right now, one
Oh,
until I
okay.
build out a bigger team. But the thing about this deal, and I wanna you to get most of the speaking time because who wants to hear me speak? I have no clue about this deal. Truly, I know this is in Gold Canyon, Arizona. I don't know the address. I don't know the stories of why the homeowner sold the way they did, and I don't know how much money you made and I made. So walk me through this deal.
Yeah, so like you, I didn't even know where Gold Canyon was, to be honest. But I did drive out there to take pictures. But so I just pulled a list of agents that, low equity listings, and then just started calling the list. And I talked to this agent. She's actually the seller of the property too. And so she needed to sell because obviously it was sitting on the market. No one was buying it. But she had bought another home. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was in Mesa, and she bought it on a lease option. So with it was $100,000 down, lease option or lease purchase option, and so it was 50 down, and then she had 6 months to bring in the other 50. And so she thought this house would sell in time on the market to get that other 50. It wasn't selling. I don't know how close she was to that 6 month mark to bring in that other 50, but she was kind of scrambling to get that other 50. And so when I called her, she was open to the idea of creative. And so, but she needed 50 though. So that's why the entry was so high.
Okay. So the homeowner had bought this house in Gold Canyon, Arizona. When did the homeowner buy it?
I don't know when they bought this house, but she had bought a new house. Her and her husband bought a new house in Mesa, and
Okay.
they needed to get 50. They put 50 down, and they had 6 months to get the remaining 50.
Okay. Wow. So this seller buys a house in Gold Canyon thinking, oh, I'm gonna live here, blah blah blah. I'm sure something happens with their life where they're like, you know what, we're gonna move, we're gonna have to move to Mesa, Arizona. But obviously we don't want to have two different mortgage payments. So she bought a house on lease purchase, and I don't and you can structure the lease purchase however many ways. So I don't know the structure of that deal specifically, but that homeowner puts a $50,000 down payment on a house in Mesa, and she has 6 months to make that house to bring another $50,000. And she thought, okay, I'm gonna get my second $50,000 from the sale of my house in Gold Canyon, and then I'm just gonna take that money and put it towards a down payment on this house in 6 months. But obviously, that house was on the market as a for sale by owner. But was she not able to get the number she was looking for?
I guess not. It was sitting, and I guess it would be technically for sale by owner. She was a seller agent, so she was an
Right,
agent. But
right.
yeah, it must. I don't even remember how long it was sitting. I can see if I can pull it up, but I don't know if it'll show because it's sold already now.
Oh yeah. Wow. So do you know what and you called or did somebody else call?
I called.
And what was that conversation like?
Same thing with all the agents here in Arizona. I just ask them if the property is available, and then I just jump right into it because I feel like they're getting so many calls. So I just ask her, "Hey, are you getting seller finance or wrap offers?" And it's always a yes. And then how's that going? And then they kind of just tell me how that's going.
what was her response when you said, hey, are you guys getting any offers on this?
Oh man, I should have listened to the call before this. I know she had gotten some offers.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember the reason why she didn't take them though. I'd
Well,
have to.
I imagine, and I saw the house. The house is not that expensive, right? It was a condo, so I think it was under 300 or 400,000. It was somewhere in
No,
that
no, no.
price.
It was a single family 4-2, and it was listed for 430.
Okay.
And so she owed, I want to say it was like 380, and that's kind of the reason she needed that 50, right? And so
Yeah.
actually I think it was listed for 440, I think, like 439 or something.
Okay, so I mean, let's just I think it was listed for 430, but let's just say 440 was what she was trying to get, and she had underlying note of 380. She probably was she was not able to get the 50,000 that $50,000 that she was hoping to get, right? Even though she's a listing agent herself, there are things that there are fees and there are things that cost when you're selling a house, right? So 440, let's just say if she got a full price offer and if she did not get a full price offer, because if she got a full price offer, she would have sold it that way. So let's just say she got an offer for, imagine 425, 430, and she has an underlying note of 380. She probably would walk away with like $30,000 instead of $50,000 that she was looking for, which means that's from that sale of the house, she would have to come up with additional $20,000 to make up that other $50,000 that she has to put up as a down payment for the second $50,000, right?
Hmm.
And then you came in and you're like, you know what? Like, if we could give you $50,000 down on this house, would you let somebody just come in and take over the payment and leave your mortgage in there? Was that
Yeah.
somewhere in the ballpark?
Yeah, yeah. I even told her that it was too high for me, but what I can do is I can try to find a buyer for you. Because
Okay.
I didn't 50,000 was really high. So I wasn't
50,
even
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I mean $50,000, that's just for the seller, right? That's not even like including
Right.
our time. If you like, you need to make money, I need to make money, my partner Lauren needs to make money, and my transaction coordinators need to make money. So, but you didn't like tell her, hey, I'm gonna be the buyer, but like you were very transparent. You said, hey, well, what if I could help you find a buyer? Would you be open to something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Okay. And so you went under contract, and so for those of you guys that are watching, so this is a relationship dynamic that Eric and I have. Is Eric will be the one that will hustle and go find the opportunities for my partner Lorraine and me and Lorraine, and then as I have been doing this for probably in the last 2.5 to 3 years. We have very good network of people that would love to buy deals just like this, right? This was like a low interest rate sub two deal, right?
Hmm. Yeah, very low rate. It was a 3.25.
Oh
Pity
my
payment was
gosh.
less than 2,000, which in Arizona is pretty great.
Right,
But
right,
Gold Canyon, that's probably why. But I mean, nevertheless, really low
right.
pity payment.
So like for me, like I every single day I get flooded with people in my DM saying, "Hey, do you have any, low interest rate sub two deals that I can buy?" Because everybody wants to, when you have a 3.25% interest rate that you can take over at any time, or you could go to the bank and pay, 7.8%, everyone's going to choose the 3.25 and your payment's like $800 less. Right. So that is very attractive for people that wants to buy houses like this. So you came to me and you said, well, Kevin, I have this homeowner that's interested in selling her house subject to, meaning, keep the mortgage in her name and take over the mortgage payment instead of getting a 7.8% bank rate. And would you happen to have a buyer for this deal? And I connected with my partner Lori, and that's kind of where I was hands off. So like so take the baton. Like so how did you and Lorraine work out the deal?
I just I emailed her, and then at first she didn't even find a buyer over 50. Because I remember by the way, Lorraine's so great to work with. She's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, she kind of foreshadowed that it was going to be a tough find. And then so originally she found a buyer at, I think it was like 45. And at this point, I didn't even care about making anything. I just wanted to help the seller.
Mhm.
And so I was like, yeah, don't even worry about paying me out. So 40 would have went to the seller, and then I think you guys would have kept the five.
Okay.
And so I let the seller know, and she was pretty adamant about getting that 50. She's like, "No, I need to get the 50. Can you try to find someone else?" And so I was like, "Sure, well, I'll see." And then I went to Lorraine, and in like a less than a week, she found someone at 58, which
Oh,
was
really?
great. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that was because I honestly I didn't think I was gonna make anything on it. I was just like, okay, I'm not. I just want to get this done for the seller at this point.
Wow. So a week later, my partner Lorraine goes through all of our database of all the buyers we have, and we find a buyer that's willing to pay 58,000. So over asking, basically,
Yeah,
$8,000 over asking. Obviously, we I'm sure we shot for $60,000 or something, but
yeah,
our
yeah.
bottom line is 50 grand, and then anything we make on top of 50 grand is what is our profit. So
Hmm.
I mean, just the fact that we were able to make some sort of profit on that, and your willingness to like, you know what, at the end of the day, like if I can help the seller, I'm gonna help the seller instead of me making a profit, which I respect that so much about you because I mean, how many people in this industry really like they're like, if I'm not getting paid, no one's getting paid.
Yeah, yeah,
So 50,000. So we found a buyer for $58,000, and then what was I'm so curious as to see like because I didn't have a conversation with the seller, but she was so adamant about getting that 50,000. But the reality is, if she did not come up with the other $50,000 on the down payment on the house that she bought in Mesa, she might have lost that opportunity to for she might have lost the other $50,000 because
yeah.
I'm sure the contractual agreement is if you don't bring the other 50,000, the $50,000 down payment that you already put in, I get to keep the previous owner
Right.
to keep. But I guess she was like, if I'd rather lose the 50 grand that I already put down on and get the 50 grand that I'm looking for.
Yeah, that was my thought process. I don't, like I said, I don't know how far she was into that 6 months before that other 50 was due. And then also I don't know the relationship she had with that seller. Maybe she had already communicated it might take longer. Who knows? But yeah, that's why when I brought that buyer for 45, well, it would have been 40 to her, or when Lorraine brought that buyer, I thought she was just gonna take it. And then she was just like, "No, I really need the 50." I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Like,
I mean, thank God she said that.
you cannot come up with the other 5 grand, huh?
No, I mean the other 10 it would have been because 40 to her and she
Oh
needed
yeah,
50.
right.
No, yeah, she didn't want to, which thank God in the long run because we were all able to win.
So was this, what kind of loan was it? This was a VA loan, right? Or FHA loan?
It was a VA loan, yeah, so they had a self-perform it.
Yeah. So for those of you guys who don't know, here in the state of Arizona, there are no title companies that will touch any FHA or VA loan transactions when it comes to take like sub two transactions, right? There are a lot of title companies that will touch conventional loans, but no title companies will touch VA or FHA loans. So in this case, I had to have my transaction coordinator, Love. Shout out to Intentional TC. They had to come in and they were basically performing the file, right? Because no title company would touch it. Which is also a benefit of working with people that have more experience, because like most people don't have access to transaction coordinators that know how to self-perform. So
Yeah. It wasn't even that title wouldn't do it. It's the buyer wanted deed conveyance. And so title said they had to do it as a contract for deed if they
okay.
did do it. And so your buyer really wanted deed conveyance, and so they self-performed it instead.
Okay.
Because
I see.
Kayla said she'll do it, but
Who said?
contract for deed only. The escrow officer,
Which one?
American Title.
Okay. Yeah. I work with American Title all the time. So have you ever, so now that okay, so 3.25% interest rate, 50,000, $58,000 down payment, and the buyer is now took over a mortgage payment at $2,000, right?
Hmm.
And then do you know what their plan is to do with that house?
I never got that. I was very curious.
I was
I'd
I,
like to know if you can find out and then let me know. Because I was wondering, are they going to homestead this or like what are they doing with it?
Hey guys, if you guys have any sub two deals or seller finance deals or double closing deals that you need help on, email it to deals@thekevincho.com and I'll be happy to help you out with your deals. From what I think my partner Lorraine and I had a very brief conversation about this. I think she said that the buyer is going to turn this into a long-term rental and break even because this buyer has their like a towing company they're making a lot of money on. So they're just straight up like, I'm just buying this house just so I can depreciate just for depreciation.
Oh, okay. Lower their taxes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like it's one thing, like when you buy a house for when you buy a 3.25% interest rate, like it's so desirable. Everybody would want that, right? And when you buy it for like little over 10% for you to save all the money in taxes, it's like very beneficial for the buyers. So yeah, those are the buyers list that we've been building for the last 2 years now. My partner and I is like we have a lot of buyers that would just buy houses just for tax purposes, right? Like this house, it's not going to cash flow from what I underwrote, right?
No, no, I was originally underwriting it for co-living because there's another team that I work with. They do a lot of co-living, and that's the only reason I even put it under contract because he was like, "Yeah, I'll buy it," and then he was like, "Never mind." Then I was like scrambling.
Oh, so he threw you under the bus. He's like, oh yeah, lock this up under contract, and you just backed out last
Yeah,
minute.
or maybe it was a miscommunication on my end. I was under the impression that he was going to take it down because that's why I went over there to take pictures to see the sizes of the living room and the garage to see because he usually converts the living room and the garages.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, if there's enough space, took pictures, 4 bedrooms, which is great, so that he can get what that would have been like 7 bed or yeah, 7 bedrooms or something.
Okay.
But yeah, for some reason he just decided not to. And then I was like, oh shoot. So I started messaging you and yeah, and then you connected me with Lorraine, which was great.
Yeah, yeah. Like handful of times we've done a deal where it was literally last minute. Like I think like a deal
Yeah.
that we did 2 months ago where a wholesaler was under contract with another buyer and the buyer backs out last minute and he's like, I got 48 hours to get this deal done. And then he comes to me saying, I have 48 hours or 47 hours now. So can you help me find a buyer on this? And we're like, and usually for us, it's like we never touch deals like that. It's like too much time, like that means we got to drop everything we're doing and focus on that one deal. And we somehow find the buyer because like I said, we have buyers that just buy just for tax purposes. They're just as long as it's under 4% interest rate, they'll buy whatever price. And we were able to close that deal in like 72 hours or something like that. But
Dang.
yeah, yeah.
I got one. Well, Lorraine already said no. I got one like that. Agent just called me. He called me yesterday. They were supposed to close on Friday, this Friday,
Uh-huh.
and buyer just canceled on him, or buyer just canceled on him. But
You got
that
less than
one's
four, you got
the
less
high
than
pity.
like you got less than what is that, 4 hours, you know. Friday is tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I already asked Lorraine. She's like, no, that one is because the pity payment was like 33 or something like that. And then there was rental restrictions on the HOA as well. So
Was that here in Arizona?
yeah, in Florence.
Oh, Florence, Arizona.
Hmm.
What's up with you getting all these deals out of like in the middle of nowhere?
I'm trying to get some on the inside, man, but it's more competitive here in the valley.
Oh,
Maybe I'm just losing them to the competition or something.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely Arizona is definitely the most competitive market in the when it comes to creative finance. I mean, I I have done enough deals for me to say that, But I mean, if Lauren said no to that deal, it's probably not a deal. But it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just you like literally last minute, the buyer will drop the ball and now like I'm happy to be the backup for the most part. It's like it's fine. I'll be the backup, no problem. But when you're less than 4 hours away from close of escrow, like that's not a backup. Like I can't help you out with that, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy on their end too to cancel two. I mean, like 2 weeks in if you're gonna sell it. In my opinion,
Oh yeah,
they should have let them know a long time ago instead of 2 days before closing. That's kind of
right. Well, so as we wrap up this podcast, I want to bring you, Eric, somewhat of an audience that people that you can do deals with, right? Because most of the people that watch my videos are people that or listen to our podcast are people that are kind of getting into real estate, so they have the drive. But obviously, you having done multiple deals, and this is our first deal together. What do you think you can bring to the table for other people that's watching this?
yeah. So I like doing the integration part of it. I like especially within Go High Level. I love building out the workflows. I use a bunch of ChatGPT actions in my workflows, and so like right now I have it built out for I mean it's built out for direct to seller too, but mainly direct to agent because I like going direct to agent.
Okay.
So like if anyone needs, help setting up their CRM or just wants to hop on my CRM and then make calls, I can pull the list, set them up. It even has a little bit of AIs because it starts off with a text campaign.
Okay.
Um,
So
but
people
yeah.
can go, so people that are brand new, they can reach out to you and say, hey, can you just plug me into your system? And all I want to do is start making some dials.
Yeah, if they're serious, I mean that's the thing. They got to be serious because I'm paying for the text messages and skip tracing the list and stuff and the minutes, which is fine. I don't mind. It's not crazy expensive. But yeah, if they're serious, yeah, it's got a power dialer in there. It's got, I set them up on a text campaign. It does a little AI, starts the conversation for them.
Yeah. All right. All right. So guys, if you guys are a serious wannabe investors and you want to plug into a team, and I feel like that's such a good underrated way of like getting into real estate is you work for somebody that's already doing deals just like you, Eric. Because like man, number one, it's expensive to start your own business, like start your own thing on your own, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You got to figure out the integration side, and you got to hop on the phone call with the support and like what I wish I would have done was just go into somebody else's business for the first 6 months and just go right into it instead of having to build my entire business from the ground up. But obviously I didn't do that, and I'm still here. So you'll still be able to get deal flow done. But yeah, I think it would save me so much time and energy if I were to work with somebody that's already that already has existing business just like you.
Yeah.
But for me, guys, if you guys have any deals that you guys are looking for, you guys need help somebody to close on the deal. I can have my team uh, um, close a deal for you. And just like how Eric leveraged my resources on finding buyers for his deal, if you guys have any sub two seller finance deals that you guys need help finding a buyer on, or maybe even I could be the buyer on some of these deals, depending on what state they're in. But guys, if you guys have any deals that you need help finding a buyer for, or you want me to buy those deals, email me at deals@thekevinchoe.com, along with any double closing opportunities. If you need any transactional funding, everything goes to deals@thekevinchoe.com, TheKevinchoe.com. Eric, how do people get a hold of you?
Best way would just be text me. You could shoot me a text, 602-999-2032. You could email me too, Eric, ERICK, like Rick with an E in front of it, at easyfasthomebuyer.com.
Okay.
Easy
Perfect.
like the opposite of hard.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes we'll put the letter E in the letter Z. I mean,
yeah.
I have that domain too, but yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Well, Eric, I'm looking forward to doing a second deal with you in the next 30 to 60 days. But guys, hope you guys enjoy the fourth episode of the Kevin Cho Show, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah.